Genesis chapter 12. God's promise to Abram. Now the Lord said to Abram, "Get out of your country, from your kindred, and from your father's house, to a land I will show you. I will make you a great nation. I will bless you and make your name great, and you shall be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you, and curse those who curse you. And in you all the tribes of the earth shall be blessed." Then Abram departed as the Lord said to him, and Lot went with him. Now Abram was 75 years old when he departed from Haran. So Abram took Sarai his wife, and Lot his brother's son, and all their possessions, and every soul they acquired in Haran, and they departed for the land of Canaan. Thus they came to the land of Canaan, and Abram passed through the land to the place of Shechem, as far as the oak of Moreh. And the Canaanites were then in the land. Then the Lord appeared to Abram and said, "To your seed I will give this land." And there Abram built an altar to the Lord, who appeared to him. So he moved from there to the mountain east of Bethel, and he pitched his tent with Bethel on the west and Ai on the east. And there he built an altar to the Lord and called on the name of the Lord. Then Abram journeyed, going on still toward the south. Abram in Egypt. Now there was a famine in the land, and Abram went down to Egypt to dwell there, for the famine was severe in the land. So it came to pass, when he was close to entering Egypt, that he said to Sarai his wife, "Indeed, I know you are a beautiful woman. Therefore it will happen, when the Egyptians see you, so they will say, 'This is his wife,' and they will kill me, but they will let you live. Therefore say you are my sister, that it may be well with me for your sake, and I may live because of you." So it was, when Abram came to Egypt, the Egyptians saw the woman, that she was very beautiful. The princes of Pharaoh also saw her and commended her to Pharaoh. Then the woman was taken to Pharaoh's house. Now he treated Abram well for her sake, and gave him sheep, oxen, donkeys, male and female servants, mules, and camels. But the Lord plagued Pharaoh and his house with great plagues because of Sarai, Abram's wife. So Pharaoh called Abram and said, "What is this you have done to me? Why did you not tell me she was your wife? Why did you say she is my sister? I might have taken her as my wife. Now therefore, here is your wife. Take her and go your way." So Pharaoh commanded his men concerning Abram, and they sent him away with his wife and all he had. Genesis chapter 13. Abram and Lot part ways. Now Abram went up from Egypt to the south, he and his wife and all he had, and Lot with him. Abram was very rich in cattle, silver, and gold. So he went on his journey from the south as far as Bethel, to the place where his tent was at the beginning, between Bethel and Ai, to the place of altar he had made there at the beginning. There Abram called on the name of the Lord. Lot also, who went with Abram, had flocks and herds and tents. But the land was not able to support them, so they might dwell together, for their possessions were so great they could not dwell together. So strife arose between the herdsmen of Abram's livestock and those of Lot. Now the Canaanites and the Perizzites dwelt in the land at that time. So Abram said to Lot, "Let there be no strife between you and me, and between my herdsmen and your herdsmen, for we are brethren. Is not the whole land before you, separate from me? If you take the left, then I will go to the right. Or if you go to the right, then I will go to the left." Thus Lot lifted his eyes and saw all the plain of Jordan, that it was well watered everywhere, before the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, like the garden of God, like the land of Egypt as you go to the war Zor. Then Lot chose all the plain of Jordan for himself and journeyed east. So they separated from each other. Abram dwelt in the land of Canaan, but Lot dwelt in the cities of the plain and pitched his tent even as far as Sodom. Now the men of Sodom were exceedingly wicked and sinful before God. Then God said to Abram, after Lot separated from him, "Lift your eyes now and look from the place where you are, northward, southward, eastward, and westward. For all the land you see, I give to you and your seed forever. And I will make your seed as the dust of the earth, that if a man could number the dust of the earth, then your seed also could be numbered. Arise, walk in the land through its length and its breadth, for I will give it to you." Then Abram moved his tent and went and dwelt by the oak of Mamre in Hebron, and built an altar there to the Lord. Genesis chapter 14. Lot's capture and rescue. Now it came time to pass in the reign of Amraphel, king of Shinar, Arioch, king of Elasar, Chedorlaomer, king of Elam, and Tidal, king of nations, that they made war with Bera, king of Sodom, Birsha, king of Gomorrah, Shinab, king of Admah, Shemabir, king of Zeboim, and the king of Bela, that is, Zor. All these joined together in the valley of Siddim, that is, the salt sea. 12 years they served Chedorlaomer, and in the 13th year they rebelled. Now in the 14th year, Chedorlaomer and the kings with him came and cut down the giants in Ashtaroth, Karnaim, and strong nations with them, the Zuzim in Ham, the Emim in Shaveh Kiriathim, and the Horzites in the mountains of Seir, as far as El Paran, which is by the wilderness. Then they turned back and came to En Mishpat, that is, Kadesh, and cut down all the princes of the Amalekites, and also the Amorites, who dwelt in Hazazon Tamar. Now the king of Sodom, the king of Gomorrah, the king of Admah, the king of Zeboim, and the king of Bela, that is Zor, went out and joined together in the battle in the valley of Siddim against Chedorlaomer, king of Elam, Tidal, king of nations, Amraphel, king of Shinar, and Arioch, king of Elasar, 4 kings against 5. Now the king of Siddim was full of asphalt, pits, and the king of Sodom and Gomorrah fled and fell in there. But those left fled to the mountains. Then they took all the cavalry of Sodom and Gomorrah and all their provisions and went away. They also took Lot, Abram's brother's son, who dwelt in Sodom, and his goods, and departed. Then one who escaped came and told Abram the Hebrew, who at the time dwelt by the oak of Mamre, the Amorite, brother of Eshcol and brother of Aner, and they were allies with Abram. Now when Abram heard his brother Lot was taken captive, he armed his 318 trained servants, born in his own house, and went in pursuit as far as Dan. So he divided his forces against them by night, and he and his servants attacked and pursued them as far as Hobah, north of Damascus. So he brought back all the cavalry of Sodom, and also brought back his brother's Lot and his goods, as well as the women and the people. The blessings of Melchizedek. Then the king of Sodom went out to meet him at the valley of Sheva, that is, the king's valley, after his return from the slaughter of Chedorlaomer and the kings with him. Now Melchizedek, the king of Salem, brought out his bread and wine. He was the priest of God Most High. He blessed Abram and said, "Blessed be Abram of God Most High, creator of heaven and earth, and be God Most High, who delivered your enemies into your hands." Then Abram gave him a tithe of all. Now the king of Sodom said to Abram, "Give me the people and keep the cavalry for yourself." But Abram said to the king of Sodom, "I have raised my hand to God Most High, creator of heaven and earth, that I will take nothing of yours, from a thread to a sandal strap, lest you should say, 'I have made Abram rich,' except only when the young men have eaten, and the portions of men with me, Aner, Eshcol, and Mamre. Let them take their portion." Genesis chapter 15. God's covenant with Abram. After these things, the word of the Lord came to Abram in a vision, saying, "Do not be afraid, Abram. I am your shield and will be your exceedingly great reward." But Abram said, "Lord, what will you give me, seeing I go childless, and the heir of my house is Eliezer of Damascus, the son of Mesech, my domestic maidservant?" Then Abram said, "Look, you have given me no offspring. Indeed, my household servant is my heir." And immediately the voice of the Lord came to him, saying, "This one shall not be your heir, but the one who will come from your own body shall be your heir." Then he brought him outside and said to him, "Look now towards heaven and count the stars, if you are able to number them." And he said to him, "So shall your seed be." And Abram believed God, and he accounted it to him for righteousness. Then he said to him, "I am the God who brought you out of Ur of the Chaldeans to give you this land to inherit it." And he said, "Master and Lord, how will I know I will inherit it?" So he said to him, "Bring me a 3-year-old heifer, a 3-year-old female goat, a 3-year-old ram, a turtle dove, and a young pigeon." So he brought all these things to him, and cut them in half, down the middle and placed each piece opposite the other. But he did not cut the birds in two. And when the vultures came down on the carcasses, Abram drove them away. Now around sunset, a trance fell upon Abram, and behold, honor and great darkness fell upon him. Then he said to Abram, "Know for certain that your seed will be strangers in a land not their own, and I will serve them, and they will afflict and humble them 400 years. Also, the nation they serve I will judge, and afterward they shall come out with great possessions. But as for you, you shall go to be your fathers in peace, buried in a good old age. Then in the fourth generation they shall return here, for the sin of the Amorites is not yet filled up." And it came to pass, when the sun went down, that there was a flame, and behold, there appeared a smoking oven and lamps of fire that passed between those divided pieces. On the same day, the Lord made a covenant with Abram, saying, "I will give you this land to your seed, from the river of Egypt to the great river, the river Euphrates, the Kenites, the Kenizzites, the Cadmonites, the Hittites, the Perizzites, the Raham, the Amorites, the Canaanites, the Urites, the Girgashites, and the Jebusites.